2 Chronicles 20:15, do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army, for the battle is not yours, but God's. One of the hardest things for a faith-based servant trapped in a hyper-responsible mindset to do is to relax. They're always trying to find something else to do. Now, it might sound crazy, but you can get in a place where you're obsessing over the next thing to be responsible for. In the last couple weeks, I've had several occasions coming back and forth to work where I've had close calls driving here. Now, Pastor Bob has been so kind to let people know how poor of a driver I am, but these close calls have not been my fault. I've watched people that were upset, mad, distracted, getting angry because other people are going too slow and taking risks on the road and causing, not only putting themselves in danger, but other people. And has it ever crossed anyone's mind? Of course, we've all had to deal with the people that are texting and emailing while they're driving. But has it ever crossed someone's mind that maybe the temptation for us to answer a text or an email is because we're hyper-responsible and we want to get the next thing done? We need to check off the boxes. Or you ever been driving down the road and seen a stranded motorist and you're just overwhelmed with the compulsion to help them? Now, there's nothing wrong with helping people, but there's other factors that need to be considered, not the least of which is your own personal safety. And after examining those factors, you decide not to help them, and then you have to deal with an overwhelming sense of guilt. Guilt should not be involved if you choose not to help. Well, what do? Well, in the book, The Overwhelmed Servant by Dr. Roush, he uses the word repose. Repose. The definition of repose is the ceasing of activity or movement, to remain still. Now, I'm not talking about being lazy. I'm talking about when you've tried every way to solve your problem and nothing works, the best approach might be no approach. Now, that's the spot Jehoshaphat found himself in. The children of Israel found themselves surrounded by 3 armies. Jehoshaphat took it upon himself to politely remind God that he promised the Jewish people that they would not be destroyed by these armies. God had promised the land that they were inhabiting to them. And in 2 Chronicles 20, Jehoshaphat finds himself and the Jewish people in a desperate situation of impending annihilation. He didn't have the men or the materials to fight 3 armies, so all he could do is pray. All his plans, all his tactics, all his diplomacy was worthless. All Jehoshaphat could do is look to God to fulfill his promise. Of course, God responded, "Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the battle's not yours, but God's." So if you find yourself overwhelmed with responsibility, don't beat something to death for the solution. I'm sure that you know that the more you struggle to find an answer, the less likely the answer will come. I've had an opportunity and a privilege to speak to several pastors who've explained to me how they can get into the sermon rut, and they try so hard to find their next sermon and they can't. And what they end up having to do is simply walk away, take a break, and then, as it's been described to me, let the message come to you. And that's what we need to do. Let the message come to us. Listen for God's voice. Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Now, I'm talking to myself too right now. Don't allow yourself to be worked up into a frenzy. Take a deep breath, one day at a time. Relax. Eagle's Nest, be safe.